o'clock in the morning that I read it. And that day I went to the chiropractor, and the lady who massaged me, I think I shared it with you guys, the lady that massaged me, she started telling me about how she read some guy's energy, or like she does cards, you know, like,
cards,
yeah. And she was reading some guy's energy or whatever, and how like, oh, you know, what she's seen, you know, she told him about it, and it was true to be true, and all this other stuff. And she looked up the name and everything, and then I started telling her, well, you know, in Hebrew, every name speaks of character and function, right? So I start off with that, yeah. Right? And I'm like, it was crazy, because like I really felt the spirit moving through me. The whole time. It was like one thing after another. There was like no pause in between. And it was pretty much, it was so funny, like towards pretty much at the end, like I had literally finished telling her, like I went from what name change, you know, how Jacob's name was changed to Israel because he wrestled that angel, and how, you know, the tribulation of the things in our mind, like it just like all these things. I went through like so much in like a span of 30 minutes. So much was said, and
she should have paid you for that massage.
It was so funny, because at the end, like she didn't have anything to say. It was like she was trying to make herself like, oh, you know, I read cards and that's spiritual. By the time she was done with me, it was like, and I have her today too. It was so funny. She's like, oh, you're that girl that was talking about, you know, the religious girl. And I'm like, oh. No, I don't think it was me. Then and she tore me up today. I think she was just doesn't like me.
Oh, she tore you
but,
up.
Yeah,
she was so good before, right?
She did good last time, but did today? She just, I don't know.
She's like manifesting while she did the
massage. She didn't talk much today too. I was trying to start up a conversation with her again, and she wouldn't talk to me. Like she would just be short, and I was like, oh.
She probably wanted to be the authority in the room.
Her demons don't like you.
Yeah, yeah. It was just really funny, because by the end of that conversation, like it was so crazy, because she even knew like about generational curses. She knew about like Yeshua's real name, you know, it's not Jesus, and you know, and I told her about, you know, Christians and what it is to be a Christian, you know, and like people say they're Christians and not even know what that word even means, right? So I told her I went through a lot of stuff, but yeah, I don't think she likes me, so it's fine. I don't care. Oh yeah, and this was another day, and I was praying for Texas, and I heard the word inventory. I'd seen like the words, you know, inventory, and I noticed the things on the list were things that, oh yeah, that one. I seen, it was one first, it was like a list of Texas, and things are being marked off, like checked off. And there was another one, another clipboard that were things that you had taught us, were like, you know, had the little square, you know how like when you check off stuff, they had little squares. So things that you had taught us, some were checked off and some weren't. And then there was another, like on the bottom of that, there was things that I had overcome and things I haven't overcome yet. And so, and some were checked off and some weren't checked off. And when I had stepped back, I noticed I was in a boat, and there was like this man, he was checking it off to see if I had enough for the trip. And there was those things that were checked off, and I was so worried. I'm like, oh my God, do I have enough on my list to be able to make the journey? And so that was interesting. I feel like that word was for all of us in the ministry. Like, if do we have enough for
It's
the
like the
trip.
oil. It's like the oil, foolish and wise virgins.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly.
And you did
it.
board.
Yeah, I was on the ship. I was on the ship, but yeah, it was like checking things off, and so I was a little worried about that. And I'm like, Lord, is it just for me? And it was like, no, it's for everyone. It was for the body, and I felt like we really need to make a checklist of ourselves. Like, are we ready for the harvest? Are we ready to be able to bring them in and teach them? And have we died enough? Do we have enough experience of this death process to be able to teach someone? It's not just like giving them words and study this and study that, but it's really the transformation of our souls that's how we're going to be able to teach them and transform them as well. So I felt like that was really important.
It's having the teaching and changing by it. That's why the two checks, the learning and then the have I changed.
Right, exactly.
That's the same
Can I
thing.
be trusted to teach others?
That's it. Yeah.
Wasn't that the same two requirements of the early church too? He's always said it was both those things.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really.
I got a word this morning from another brother who said that the Lord spoke to him that it's time for the seventh trumpet. He said, for me, he said, I see you going to Revelations chapter 11. And at the Revelation talks about that trumpet being sounded. So that it's time, which is really about the glory coming and all those things. So it's pretty intense.
It is. Amen. Yeah, preparation. It was interesting because I had heard the word preparation. Like, are we prepared for the journey? And so I looked it up on these searches to see what scriptures were come out.